allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we proceed this evening, we parents of Watertown and Oakville have been blessed in abundance to have had Denise Brown in our midst for over 30 years. Denise passed away 3 days after our last board meeting at far too young an age. But she fit more into her life than most of us would ever dream of. Denise coached in the girls' Little League in town, and she started our town's girls softball program, Grows, 35 years ago, which shows you the kind of visionary she was. The softball players at St. Mary Magdalene, Wamogo Middle School, and McMahon High School in Norwalk were lucky to be able to call her coach. And for the past 14 years, we've been fortunate to have her as our field hockey coach right here at Watertown High. Somehow in all this, she found the time to produce more than 18 musicals at our Young Actors Theater program in Watertown Whimsicality. And yet Denise seemed to always feel that she was the lucky one in her coaching and producing roles. Recently, she told a reporter that she had so many young people who touched her life every day. I think that's one reason why she's so beloved by our community, why she was honored as the recipient of the proceeds from this year's Shamrock Shuffle road race that included 736 runners last year, but over 1,000 runners this year. She's being remembered by scholarships created by the Water Oak Gold Circle of Sports and by Whimsicality. And I urge you to contact these organizations if you'd like to support the kind of work that Denise cared so deeply about. We're a better community because of Denise Brown. And every child and every young adult who knew her is now a better adult because of her. Before I ask for a moment of silence, Mr. Medic, I'd like to ask you, as someone who's had the pleasure and opportunity to work with her, if you'd like to share a comment or reflection on Denise.
Certainly. Denise Brown was a tremendous individual who donated a lot of her time for athletics and for the arts in our community. And one of the lasting impressions I will have for Denise is the strength and resolve that she had. Even as she kind of fell more sick in the weeks leading up to her passing, she made it a point to come to softball games and to basketball games and to the plays for Whimsicality and other school events. And she gave our students and our community strength in those last few weeks. And Denise, I'll always remember her coming into my office this year after losing 9-0. And typically coaches, when they lose kind of bad, come in and they're very angry. And Denise comes in, sits down, looks at me and says, "Coach, we have to get better." And that's the type of person she was, where she wasn't an excuse maker. She was always looking to improve, to get better, and to keep providing our kids with the opportunity. And she'll be deeply missed by our athletic department and our entire community.
Sure will. Thank you, Mr. Medic. On that note, would you join me, please, in a moment of silent remembrance and thanksgiving for the life of Denise Brown? Thank you all. I'd also like to point out that we have one member of the Board of Ed who's not with us this evening, and that's Ray Nardella. Actually, Janelle Wilk is expected to come hopefully at some point tonight. But Ray Nardella, his absence was unfortunately the result of a vehicular accident last week. It was a serious accident, and he sustained some serious injuries, but he's recovering quickly and well at home this evening. And I know that all our thoughts and prayers go out to him for quick healing and comfort. There is a get well card coming around. It's making its way through the Board of Ed, and we'll pass it around, but Mr. Peruse will also pass it into the audience this evening. If you wouldn't mind, take the pen if you'd like and just write your name or a quick little note to him. I know that would brighten his day this week. He broke his shin bone. Is that the tibia? I can't remember which one that is, but the big bone in front. Tibia, thank you very much. And they're hairline fractures. So his cast will only be on for a week. And it sounds like a HIPAA violation, but he told me I could share all this with you.
And he's young.
And he's young.
And he's young.
Yeah, as you know, he's young by a good couple of years by us. So he will heal fast. They're hairline fractures, but his doctor does not want him to put any pressure on this leg for the next week, and then he'll be out of his cast, and we'll see him in no time at all. So please take a moment to sign your name to that card. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Mindy to take our roll for this evening.
No, shin, not chin, shin.
I'll work. Yeah, no, that's. And I'll work on enunciating better with my chin. Mindy, please, thank you. Quickly, yeah. Get us back.
Here.
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 Here. Here.
Here.
Thank you, Mindy. Mr. Tizzini, we'll turn it over to you for your report from Student Council.
Thank you. Spring sports are all underway. Every team has been out and competing, and all have been doing very well. Good luck to all spring sports teams. On May 10th, 10 students will attend the NVL Leadership Conference. Congratulations to Megan Perrin, who took home a 4th place title in javelin at the Penn Relays, which is a national competition. Megan is also a 2-time defending champion in the Class M division for javelin. She's looking to three-peat this year. Good luck to all students taking AP exams, which begin next week. In the second week of May, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, will come to WHS to give an assembly to the whole student body. The administration is looking to get the word out on safe driving before the end of the year. In the third week of May, Dr. Carnamola and Officer McDonald worked with the Watertown Fire Department to bring a mock accident to WHS. And finally, on May 4th, Dr. Carnamola, Mr. Medic, and the 2 incredible students being honored here tonight are going to the Scholar Athlete Award Banquet, where Bobby and Sarah will be honored at the state level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. We appreciate that update. With that, we'll move to our first round of public participation. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? If not, we'll close our first round of public participation. Move on to item F, budget status. Board members, on Friday in your packets, you received an update from the superintendent with our year-to-date expenditures and our projected expenditures through the remainder of the fiscal year. That report has been updated, and Mr. Peruse has placed one at your desk this evening. Before you have an opportunity to take that home and peruse it, I'd like to ask Dr. McDowell to add some comments on the revised document and a sense of where we're headed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unfortunately, the information that the board received in the packet from the original budget status report showed a projected surplus of $1,247 for the year, and that was my mistake in the tuition line. We corrected that today, and it's an estimated surplus is $46,247, but I just want to get that to the board as soon as possible. As Mr. Peruse and I, some lack of sleep for a while till we found where it was.
Do board members have comments or questions at this time? All right, thank you both for the update. We'll move on to item G, committee reports. The first report would be from Mr. Nardella from Curriculum and Instruction. He's not here this evening. We'll move on to Mr. Berthel. Any report from Policy and Labor, Mr. Berthel?
No, sir.
And Mr. Berthel, any update from Budget and Finance?
Not at this time.
Mr. Lambert, any report this evening from Facilities PBC Operations?
No report as yet tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. And again, we will not have a report from Governance and Community Engagement this evening due to Mr. Nardella's absence. We will also not have any communications reported out from the Secretary this evening. We'll move on to item I, the minutes of the Watertown Regular Board of Education meeting of April 14th, 2014. Do board members have any comments or corrections on the minutes? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Watertown Board of Education of April 14th, 2014 as submitted?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve of the minutes of the regular Board of Education meeting of April 14th, 2014 as submitted.
Thanks for the motion, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second, Mr. Lambert. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? One abstention. The motion passes. With that, I'll turn it over to Dr. McDowell for some important recognition this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Watertown Board of Education and the administration would like to honor the parent-teacher organization, PTO presidents, and the parent-teacher-student organizations, PTSO, for outstanding services to the school community. These individuals have created a strong working relationship with parents and teachers, and some of them are here this evening, and we would like to acknowledge them. First, from John Trumbull Primary School, is Kim Calabrese here? Shelley Lauer. Shelley here? Come on up, Shelley. We have a small token of our thanks, and thank you very much. Thank you. Mary Metcalf from John Trumbull. Thank you, Mary. Appreciate all your help.
I'll catch you later.
Dana Bekich. From Judson Elementary School, Carrie O'Connell.
Appreciate it, Carrie.
Rose Harris. Thank you, Rose. Appreciate all your help.
Thanks, Queen Harris.
And our own Mindy Davidson. Bev Beverly. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bev.
Lisa Bacesta. Jennifer Geis. Thank you.
Even Yankee fans get a rose.
Oh, especially
Or
Yankee
two roses. If he knew, you'd gotten a bouquet.
From Swift Middle School, Kathy Rinaldi. Katie Consalvo here. Christy, okay, so that's it for this part. We have some students we're going to recognize.
In just a minute. Before we continue, just like to take a moment and ask board members who've had the pleasure and the opportunity to be a part of PTO meetings and get to know the work and the many positive things and the ways PTOs have made a difference in our school district. So do board members have any comments at this time? Yes, Mr. Lambert.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we are here to celebrate our parent-teacher organizations and their outstanding service to our community. The Polk School PTO, with co-presidents Jennifer Geis and Lisa Pacheska, along with Vice President Beverly, and their membership, serve as a liaison between our parents, teachers, administration, to promote and enhance cooperation between the home and the school. Our Polk PTO is a hands-on organization involved in many aspects of the educational process to help students learn, socialize, communicate, and grow. They promote activities that encourage parents to interact in their children's educational experience and offer a number of fun opportunities for students and their parents to become involved in their school. Our PTO's absolute strong point is their ability to raise money from many fundraisers, coupon cutting, grocery shopping points, and others. Their efforts have helped Polk students enjoy class trips, new playground equipment, and library books, to name a few, and are constantly looking for ways to make their school the best that it can be. They have helped to encourage town residents to vote in our town-wide referendums so that our schools have the resources necessary for a sound educational experience. From serving snacks, being a class parent, chairing a fundraiser, or serving on the PTO board, our Polk PTO is giving their time and their energy to our community day after day. Thank you for your dedication to our school community. But especially, thank you for getting our parents involved in their children's education. Polk School is a better place because of your efforts. Thank you very much.
Do other board members have comments?
Chairman, through you.
Please, Ms. Clark.
Just briefly, I'd like to say I had the wonderful experience this past month of attending a Judson PTO meeting. I hadn't been to a Judson PTO meeting in many, many months, maybe even years. And as I walked through the parking lot to the front of the building, I passed a conference room or teacher's lounge, whichever that front room is, and I saw many of you huddled around that table, working diligently, smiling, laughing, and I think I shared with you when I came in how amazing it was to be in that environment again. It had been a while, and I left that meeting reminded of how engaging our PTOs can be, how empowering they are for parents who want to find their place in a school and want to make a difference in the community that their children go to school in, how much energy and enthusiasm you bring to the community with your work, and how supportive you are of both the administration and the teachers, not just the parents and students. And I left that meeting feeling very motivated and inspired once again by our PTO. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Leslie. Mr. Berthel.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. As members of this board, we have additional responsibilities beyond our seat at this desk. Some of us serve as officers of the board, some of us chair subcommittees, but all of us collectively attend hundreds of school events throughout the year. And it is certainly a pleasure to do so, and is most often a humbling experience for all of us. One of the additional responsibilities that I enjoy the most is my role as the Board of Education liaison to 3 of our 5 schools and their parent-teacher student organizations. And I would like to take just a moment to speak about each of those 3 schools. Swift Middle School is home, of course, to the only parent-teacher student organization, or PTSO, in our district. Led this year by President Kathy Rinaldi, this group of volunteers raise funds that support enrichment activities at Swift that feature the arts, sciences, music, health, and positive behavior assemblies. In addition, the PTSO funds events like Shakespeareans, which is a local acting troupe that comes to Swift and performs for 8th graders as their first introduction to the genius of Shakespeare. The PTSO supports presentations for parents to learn more about the educational process and provides opportunities for parents and Swift staff to meet informally. They fund a scholarship for Swift graduates who are going off to college, as well as donating funds to support field trips. They are extremely active in advocacy for the passage of town and school budgets. But most importantly, they provide a forum for parents to exchange ideas, to gather information, and to feel a part of the school process. Working with Kathy and her team at Swift this year was truly an honor, and I thank you all for your dedication and service to our children and Swift Middle School. The PTO at Judson Elementary School is led by co-presidents Carrie O'Connell and Rose Harris, or as Guy referred to as Queen Harris, and Vice President Mindy Davidson. Judson PTO is famous for its events like the Sock Hop Dance, Ice Cream Social, Halloween Bash, and of course the annual Field Day celebration. Fundraising events include the frozen food sale, butter braids, magazine sales, and scholastic book fairs, among others. Funds raised at Judson go to support enrichment activities for our children throughout the year, as well as special events like Fifth Grade Night, which is the final social gathering of our fifth grade class before they move on to the wide and long hallways of Swift. And this PTO also organizes the collection of goods for a gift basket that is donated to a local family in need during the holidays. This year, under the direction, and I wish she was here, the threats of Jen LaBella, this PTO collected $8,052 through the Stop and Shop A-Plus Rewards program, every penny of which goes back to the school, which is just amazing. I believe that may be a new record for A-plus rewards in our district. This PTO has also been extremely involved in advocacy for passage of our town and school budgets. Thank you all for your dedication and service to our children and to Judson Elementary School. The old saying, "You reap what you sow," can be found in the Bible and has been quoted by a famous person or two over time, but nowhere is it truer than at John Trumbull Primary School. In addition to our teachers, administrators, and staff, setting the foundation of learning in the youngest of our children, this PTO, led by President Kim Calabrese, sets the foundation for future PTO activity among Watertown and Oakville parents. Many of the leaders' names read tonight as the leaders of the PTO, PTSO at our other schools can trace their start in the PTO back to John Trumbull, and I'm sure they do so with great pride. No other PTO in our district raises the money that John Trumbull does. Their efforts provide for events like the annual second grade celebration, field day, and many, many enrichment activities throughout the year. Recently, this PTO funded the purchase and installation of the new playscape for our first grade recess area. This group made smart boards possible in every classroom in John Trumbull. This PTO has added countless numbers of books to our school library and individual classrooms. And this PTO organizes the Tree of Giving each year, which ensures that families in need have a meaningful gift for their child during the holidays. And of course, like the other PTOs, this group has also been involved in the advocacy efforts for passage of our school and town budgets. The list of accomplishments goes on and on. I thank you for setting the bar, setting the example, and for cultivating future leaders of our PTO, PTSOs at John Trumbull. Thank you for your dedication and service to our children and to John Trumbull Primary School. Mr. Chairman, in closing, it is truly an honor to serve the Board of Education in this capacity as a liaison to these three schools. What a privilege it has been to be included on the agenda for the meeting in each of these schools each month. Thank you all for allowing me to speak with you and your groups each month on behalf of your Board of Education. Your work and commitment has certainly created those strong working relationships with parents, teachers, and administrators in each of our schools that are so critical to our combined success. I'll close now with a quote from Ronald Reagan. He said, "The work of volunteer groups throughout our country represents the very heart and soul of America. They have helped make this the most compassionate, generous, and humane society that ever existed on the face of this earth. Thank you for all that you do every day for our children and for our schools." Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments from board members? Just want to amplify those comments, those wonderful comments, and the couple of themes that I heard in the comments tonight, and that should really be, I think, reemphasized. And that's how much we would not have in this district if it weren't for our PTOs. It's not that our PTOs say, "Oh, you were going to put a playscape in for first graders at John Trumbull, let us do that." No, it wouldn't have happened without that PTO. Yeah. There are dozens of Judson students who are looking forward to a field trip next week. It wouldn't happen if it weren't for the Judson PTO paying for the transportation for those children. And as Eric mentioned, the books that are on the shelves in libraries in our district are there because of the PTO. Books are expensive, as we know. They are sadly a luxury that sometimes we cannot afford in our budgets because of the work primarily of Queen Rose Harris and the birthday and giving programs. Our shelves are getting filled with age-appropriate, exciting, and terrific books for children to read. Another theme he talked about was how John Trumbull provides this sort of breeding ground for future leaders. But what we have to acknowledge and admit is that you folks don't sign up for a lifelong obligation of service to PTOs. And it's so impressive to me that the names I see on this list are the names I saw last year, just a little higher up in the agenda. And at the same time, I see new names and I see new faces at PTO meetings. It impresses me so much that the enormous amount of dedication, the endurance you have to remain as leaders and members of a PTO, when I certainly know it's not always a day at the beach. When I look at Facebook and I sometimes see comments or I hear comments, and we all hear these as people who have led before, we hear things like, well, if only they would just do this, or why don't they just do that? And you hear those things all the time, and yet you come back year after year with a smile on your face and continue to make an incredible difference for our children. And at the same time, welcome and value the contributions of new members. That is just an enormous accomplishment. And I want to thank each and every one of you for doing that for our district and for our children. Thank you this evening, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. I'd like you to, if you could hold for just a few minutes, leaders of our PTO will have another segment of recognition, and I think we'll recess for about 5 to 7 minutes. We'll give Mr. Taylor from the Town Times a chance to take for a photo opportunity with you folks and for our high school seniors as well. Dr. McDowell, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Scholar Athlete Program recognizes 2 high school seniors annually, a male and female from each high school whose academic and athletic careers have been exemplary, whose personal standards and achievements are a model to others, and who possess high levels of integrity, self-discipline, and courage. Tonight, I'm very pleased to bring forward for recognition Robert Ernst and Sarah Martino, seniors at Watertown High School, who will be recognized at the Scholar Athlete Awards Banquet on May 4th, 2014 at the AquaTurf. And while it's always tough when you're young to hear wonderful things about you. But I'm gonna ask Mr. Medic, would you come up and join me while we have these students bask in the sunlight that they've generated? First, Robert Ernst is a senior at Watertown High School and is the varsity football captain, member of indoor and outdoor track teams, ranked 3rd out of 235 seniors. Robert has taken AP Calculus, AB, AP Calculus BC, AP Physics, AP Biology, AP US History, AP Java, and AP Chemistry. He will be attending the University of Connecticut in the fall. Congratulations, Robert.
Yes. Very good. It's right there, sir.
Martineau. I apologize, it's Martineau. Sarah Martineau is also a senior at Watertown High School and is captain of the girls' tennis team. Sarah's ranked 5 out of 235. She has taken AP Biology, AP Calc, AP Calculus, AP American Government, AP Chemistry, AP Physics, AP Stats, AP US History, and UConn ECE Spanish, 5. Sarah will be also attending the University of Connecticut in the fall.
Dr. McDowell asked me to speak briefly about Robert and Sarah. First off, what I'd like to say is, obviously, we're all aware that the University of Connecticut won 2 basketball titles recently, and as an alumni of UConn, I could say that their greatest victory is bringing these 2 as future Huskies. So I'm very proud. They're both telling me where they're living, and I have memories, and they're now called learning communities, not dorms.
Excuse me.
I like how UConn's phrasing that, but Bobby and Sarah are wonderful assets to not only our athletic program at Watertown High School, but to our entire school community. When I talk to our incoming freshmen of what they should aspire to as athletes, I really do have the picture of Bobby and Sarah in mind. Exemplary students in the classroom, hard workers in the classroom, and they bring the same values to the athletic fields as well. One of the things that I think speaks very highly, and Dr. McDowell stated, they're both captains of their teams. They lead by example, and they lead with integrity, honesty, and they have paved the way for a lot of their teammates to find success on the field and in various capacities in the building as well. So they are true leaders for us in our building, and I couldn't be prouder of these 2 individuals. So,
Well said. Thank you, Mr. Minnick. Well said. At this point, I would like to adjourn if board members have no objections until 8:10 p.m. To give folks a chance to have their photo taken by Mr. Taylor, and then we will reconvene at 8:10 p.m. And if you have cell phones and would like the opportunity to do a selfie or 2, please feel free. We'll reconvene at 8:10.
We're actually going to have the word selfie in our minutes now.
It's 8:11 p.m. I'd like to call us back to order and continue on with our agenda for this evening with item K, our superintendent's recommendations and report. Dr. McDowell, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we have one appointment to as a classroom paraprofessional, and a resignation provided me effective June 30th, 2014, from Mr. Daniel Tartarelli from the position of assistant principal at Watertown High School, and that will repost for that position, if not today, tomorrow. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Dr. McDowell. We'll move on to item L, report from the chairman. It's always exciting to announce a new appointment, but it's even more special when the person filling that appointment is a familiar face. We are so fortunate to have an abundance of talented professionals already embedded in our district, individuals who are more than ready to advance their careers right here in Watertown and continue making our district great. Tonight, we're happy to announce the third recent appointment where we've promoted from within, and it's a pleasure to inform you that effective July 1st, 2014, Roberto Medic will become an assistant principal here at Watertown High School. I think that the assistant principal position is a tough one and also one of the most important in any district. The position requires outstanding administrative and management skills, but it also requires an exceptional ability to guide and encourage young adults. Roberto has demonstrated the ability to do both at an extremely high level in just the 2 years he's been here in Watertown. He's led an athletic program comprised of over 40 teams, dozens of coaches, over 800 student athletes. At the same time, he's set and maintained a high standard of conduct for not just students, but for coaches and for parents. It's focused on developing and displaying character at all times. He's a disciplinarian, but one who knows that encouragement, patience, and a supportive word go a lot farther than dismissiveness and disrespect. This board can't wait to see the successes that Mr. Medic has brought to our athletic program expanded across our entire high school, and we look forward to supporting you in your new role. Congratulations, Mr. Medic. And that concludes my report for this evening. We'll move on to item M, action items, adoption of items to be approved by consent. Item 1, consideration of the approval of an out-of-country field trip to Athens and the Aegean, Greece. Is there a motion? Is there a motion?
Yes, there is.
Ready for, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve a field trip to Athens and Aegean, Greece from April 4th, 2015 through April 12th, 2015 for up to 20 Watertown High School students and their chaperones.
Thank you for the motion, Ms. Cavello. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes, and I know that there are 20 students and a counselor who are very grateful for that approval and look forward to their trip next year. With that, we'll move on to item N, future agenda items and board members' comments. Do board members have any comments they would like to make at this time or future agenda items they'd like to propose? If not, we'll move on to our second round of public participation. Is there anyone who wishes to address the board this evening? Is there anyone who wishes to address the board? If not, we'll close our second round of public participation and ask for a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Berthel. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Crotty. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned at 8:16 p.m. Thank you all.